Kratos, the ultimate god killer, the Ghost of Sparta, the god of war, son of Zeus. Absolutely nothing is going to stop him on his god-killing quest. Absolutely nothing. Except one guy here is gonna try. Superman, the Man of Steel, the Last Son of Krypton, the ultimate hero. You know he's gonna try and stop Kratos' deicidal rampage, or die trying. And so, who's coming out on top here? Well, today that's what we're gonna find out. We're gonna analyze their strengths and weaknesses, their powers and abilities, their weapons and their skill, all of it, to find out once and for all who wins in the battle arena. Cue the music. What's up, guys? I'm Daniel and this is DanCo. We do fight breakdowns like this one every week. So if that seems interesting to you, well, sit back and enjoy the video. Hit that like button. And if you want to, well, hit the subscribe button while you're at it. Now let's get to it. Born in Sparta, Kratos is a demigod, son of Zeus, and was once a soldier and Spartan general. He worked under Ares' command, serving the god of war, until he accidentally killed his wife and daughter under Ares' order. Tough day at the office, that one. The Ghost of Sparta renounced his service to the god of war, eventually killing him and ascending to true godhood himself, becoming the new god of war. And from there, well, Kratos continued on his deicide, claiming revenge against his father Zeus and all the Olympian gods who had betrayed him. After following through on his vengeance, Kratos left to Norway and the world of the Norse gods. And of course, war and fighting followed him there too. Now, Kratos isn't just a great character, he's also just an absolute beast. He is so freaking powerful. Like, let me introduce you to Kratos, king of the Titans, 1,600 feet tall, 7 million tons. And when this Titan tried to crush Kratos with his fingers, well, Kratos was able to hold him off and push him back. That's like holding back millions of tons, billions of tons of force. It's an absolutely insane showing. And Kratos did it again. This time he was fighting against Atlas, a primordial god who's roughly just as strong as Kronos, and is tasked with holding the sky on his shoulders. Atlas tried to squish Kratos, just like Kronos did, but Kratos was able to hold it off and push him back, just like he did with Kronos. Wait. Hold on, let me make sure you get that. Atlas is the strongest Titan and god of war. It required the might of both Hades and Poseidon to stop him. He could hold the entire cosmos on his shoulders, prevent it from falling and collapsing. Yet he still failed to crush Kratos. And Kratos is also just a fraction of his size too. Kratos also fought against some Norse gods like Baldur, a dude who's dang near invincible, who literally cannot feel pain, just has a lot of stuff going for him. In fact, he was referred to as the strongest opponent that Kratos had ever faced, at least in terms of straight up raw strength. And yet, Kratos was still able to overpower him. Baldur is the same guy who was able to knock out the world serpent, the serpent that fought for forever against Thor, the serpent that's so big that his body circles around the world. And Baldur knocked out this big snake with like 3 hits. And then Kratos proceeded to beat the ever-loving crap out of this guy and snap his neck. Basically, Kratos is ridiculously strong. He's also really tough. I mean, he's taken lightning bolts from Zeus, lightning bolts that can literally destroy mountains. Not only that, but lightning bolts that had already pushed back Gaia, one of the most powerful beings of all time. She was the literal embodiment of the earth, to the point where her just waking up was enough to shake the whole earth, or her breath can cause mountains to shake and continents to move. Zeus's lightning was able to injure her and push her back, and Kratos took it. He survived a point-blank volcanic eruption that sunk Atlantis. He's taken punches from Hercules, the literal god of strength, and even just his stamina is unbelievable, fighting enemy after enemy, god after god, titan after titan, seemingly without end. He's even survived some truly crazy attacks, like when Hades tried to straight up rip Kratos' soul out of his body. Yet Kratos was just like, nope, and took his soul back. It didn't work. And Kratos isn't just all rage and muscles and toughness. He can surprise you with his speed, too. He can dodge lightning from Zeus, so 220,000 miles per hour. But he was also able to face off against Hermes, the god of speed, and easily the fastest opponent Kratos ever faced. Now, in Greek mythology, Hermes is able to move at the speed of light, so 670 million miles per hour. But Kratos had insane difficulty catching him and even landing hits on him, so clearly Hermes is faster. So Kratos is somewhere between lightning and light speed. But that can all depend on the situation that he finds himself in. Either way, Kratos is immensely powerful, the ultimate god killer. But how's he gonna do going up against the ultimate hero, Superman? Superman was born at Kal-El on the planet Krypton. When his father Jor-El discovered that Krypton was about to end, he put Kal in a spaceship headed to Earth, where he crash landed in Smallville, Kansas, in the backyard of Jonathan and Martha Kent. They took him in as their own, raising him up and watching Clark's insane powers and abilities grow under the Earth's yellow sun. Now, Clark Kent lives in Metropolis as a reporter for the Daily Planet, uses his powers to defend the Earth as Superman, the best superhero the world has ever seen. Now, of course, Superman is powerful. More powerful than a locomotive.
More powerful than a locomotive.
Locomotive? What are you, an old prospector?
And strength is the name of the game here. I mean, Superman is clearly no stranger to moving and lifting around planets. I mean, he's moved just the Earth almost more times than I can remember.
Maybe I could move the Earth out of the way. If we had a week, I couldn't list all the reasons that won't work.
Yeah, I think I agree with Batman on this one, but that hasn't stopped him from doing it before. I mean, just for example, he's pulled the Earth back into orbit along with Green Lantern, all while Starbreaker was trying to use his power to move the Earth into the sun. So the Earth itself weighs 6.6 quintillion tons, or 6.6 billion trillion tons. That's what we're operating with here. Of course, then you gotta cut that in half, because GL was helping there too. Can't discredit Hal. So that's 3.3 quintillion tons. You can probably throw a bit more in there because Starbreaker was working against them, but that's an unknown variable. So let's just say 3.3 quintillion tons. But you want to take that and make it even more impressive? Well, what about the time where Superman bench pressed the whole weight of the Earth, all 6.6 quintillion tons of it, for 5 days straight? It only barely broke a sweat, wasn't even tired from it. The guy bench pressed for 5 days, 120 hours, 7,200 minutes, only dropped 1 drop of sweat. So that's just blowing my mind. The fact that it's nowhere near his max rep. Because I mean, that's not even the most impressive thing Superman has ever done. Like, look at this. Pushing back Brainiac's ship. This is the size of that ship. That's how big it is. It's virtually impossible to work out the weight of the ship because you don't know how actually big it is. You don't know what it's made out of. Don't really know anything about it. But we can just look at the size comparison between that ship and the Earth. And man, just let your mind run wild. Just take the biggest estimate you can. Half it, of course, because you got Martian Manhunter there too. But then yeah, even then, you're probably still underestimating Superman here. And here's the thing. Superman is equally just as tough. For all that strength, and he's got a lot of strength, he's also just as durable. Can rock with the best of them. I mean, starting out, what about the time where Hawkman hit Superman with the Claw of Horus, which, according to Hawkman, draws its power from the magnetic core of the Earth, meaning that he was essentially hitting Superman with the planet itself. And while Superman might look like he was knocked out, he was actually just faking. Because I guess that's something Superman does now. Fakes getting knocked out. Or what about the time where he was face to face with ancient devices that were causing massive earthquakes all over the world? Which, in order to do that, you'd be producing earthquakes bigger than we've ever seen before. And Superman was taking them head on and doing it at the center of the Earth. Just throw a little extra on top. He was doing it standing in an area as hot as the sun and 3 million times more pressure than the Earth's surface. And then it's not just strength, it's not just durability, because there's also speed. Superman is also insanely fast. I mean, just for starters, Superman can easily go faster than light speed. That's for sure a given. I mean, he's flown from the center of the universe to the Earth in just 60 days. A trip that would take light itself thousands and thousands, probably even hundreds of thousands of years. And then Superman is doing it in 60 days? I don't even think we can understand how impressive that is. And he can operate in a fight just as fast, too. I mean, even just besides doing stuff like punching Doomsday literally thousands of times in seconds, he's able to perceive and move within femtoseconds and attoseconds. Literally nothing in our universe is able to move that fast. And Superman can work within that space when he wants to, perceive events happening that fast. That's insane. Also insane to think that the Flash is still faster, but that's a whole other thing. Okay, so those are our two heroes, Superman and Kratos. Who's coming out on top here? Well, let's get in there and break it down a little bit. And you might be saying, well, Daniel, what are you even talking about? Kratos has nothing on Superman. Superman is way stronger, way tougher, way faster. There's absolutely no fight to even be had here. What's going on? Well, to you, I would say, you don't know Kratos real well, do you? Because, I mean, yeah, sometimes he'll struggle with giants or get mauled by wolves or whatever. But this guy is a god killer. And I think the best way to really get a true gauge on his powers is to take a look at all the many gods that Kratos has killed. So in God of War, there are basically 3 different power levels or power groupings: Primordials, Titans, and the gods of Olympus. In the beginning, before anything was. There were the primordials. These beings waged war on each other before the very concept of time existed. And out of this war came the Earth. And not just the Earth, but the whole universe itself. I mean, they were throwing punches around and literally creating the Big Bang. That's insane. And what's even crazier? Kratos killed some of these guys. Like he killed Gaia, Mother Earth herself. She's the first being to ever exist in the God of War story. Preceded all the primordials. And they already all preceded the universe itself. She's very, very, very old. And Gaia is also an omnipresent being, able to exist everywhere all at the same time, exist in every time, even see the future. And Kratos killed her and Zeus at the same time. And that's not the only primordial that he killed. He also fought against and killed Thanatos, the primordial personification of death. This guy existed before the universe too, fought in the primordial war, even created his own dimension. And here Kratos is, killing him. Granted, like, it was a hard fight, it wasn't easy for Kratos to do this, but this guy is one of the most powerful primordials ever, was the literal embodiment of the very concept of death. It was never gonna be an easy fight. And it was one of the fights where everyone began to take Kratos seriously. This is when Zeus began to actually be afraid of Kratos, calling him the destroyer of worlds. So that's crazy. And you want to know something else crazy? The Titans and the Greek gods are on the same level as the primordials. They actually were the ones who replaced the primordials. The Titans are the spawn of the primordials and ruled creation during a golden age of peace and prosperity, where the Titans were the end-all, be-all. That is, until Kronos' son rose up to overthrow them and establish Mount Olympus. And there are a few Titans that Kratos fought against and beat too, even killed a few of them. Like Atlas. We talked about this guy earlier, but he is the strongest Titan in God of War. Could hold up the earth with just one hand, and was the one tasked with carrying the weight of the entire cosmos on his back. And yet Kratos held him back. He couldn't overpower Kratos. And then there's Kronos, the king of the Titans, the very embodiment of time, the ruler of the universe during this golden age. And he claimed that throne by defeating the embodiment of the universe itself, Uranus. And he did it in an epic, potentially universe-shattering fight that was similar to the fight between the primordials that created the universe in the first place. And you know what? While Kronos killed his father Uranus, a dude who has powers way beyond the universe, well, Kratos was able to kill him. He died by Kratos' hand. And then last but not least, well, there are the gods. The children of the Titans. The gods were destined to rule the universe and crush all opposition under their feet. The king of the gods, Zeus, fought for vengeance and freedom from his parents that would eventually end the time of the Titans and bring about the reign of Mount Olympus. For a millennia, the gods ruled creation, governing the fundamental forces of nature and order, until Kratos showed up. Now, Kratos managed to kill plenty of gods, but it's really impressive that he was able to take down the big three: Hades, Poseidon, and Zeus. Hades is the third most powerful god in God of War. He was even able to gobble up Atlas's soul and gain all of his power. So the way that Hades works is that his power increases with the more souls that he devours. And Kratos fought Hades centuries after the Great War. So that means that the version of Hades that Kratos was fighting was even more powerful than when Hades fought Atlas. And yet Hades still couldn't end up devouring Kratos' soul. Instead, it ended up being the other way around. And along with it, well, Kratos gained all the other souls that Hades had eaten. Poseidon is the second most powerful god, and while we don't really know a ton about him, we do know that he can kill a titan with just one punch. He would have even killed Gaia herself if it wasn't for Kratos, if he hadn't gotten to Poseidon first. And then last but not least, Zeus, the most powerful being in God of War. He almost killed Gaia with just one lightning bolt. His mere anger can shake the entire universe. He created the Blade of Olympus, the most powerful weapon in the universe, and used it to absolutely obliterate the Titans. It's basically like the Infinity Gauntlet. You just gotta swing it around, you just gotta use it, and every being ceases to exist against it. It's pretty freaking crazy. But when Zeus was stabbed twice with the blade, he didn't die. It just made him mortal. That's how powerful Zeus is. And you know what? Kratos killed him. Kratos beat him. Kratos is out there just consistently beating universal level beings, even beings beyond the universe, beating the very gods and beings that were responsible for creating the universe in the first place. And Kratos is beating all of them. He's basically the reckoning. So yeah, Superman is going up against a guy with an impressive track record here. Kratos is a bit of a beast. But while Superman doesn't typically go around fighting gods, he does fight against a guy who's fought against the Greek gods before, Darkseid. Zeus and Darkseid have fought against each other before, except this wasn't any old typical Darkseid. It was actually a significantly weaker version of the villain. So you think that would give Zeus a leg up in the fight, right? Nope, wrong. Instead, Darkseid beat up on Zeus, killed Zeus, even drained and absorbed all of Zeus's power so that Darkseid could get his own power back. If Zeus and Darkseid ever fought again, and Darkseid had all of his powers from the beginning, well, safe to say the fight would be over before it could even start. And yet, here's Superman, this kid from Kansas, and he's fighting against the god of Apocalypse, the lord of the Omega effect, and he's kicked his butt countless times. Superman has been able to regularly beat up on Darkseid, take attacks from Darkseid, outspeed Darkseid, win fights against Darkseid. A guy who can conquer realities and conquer dimensions, who can absorb whole universes. They're all things that we've seen Darkseid do, and yet Superman still consistently is able to beat him. So yeah, even though Kratos has fought against universal beings before, that doesn't necessarily give him the leg up over Superman. That's something that Superman regularly does too. On top of that, well, Superman is still stronger, he's still tougher, he is just infinitely faster, I think Kratos has a good fight in him, but I still don't think this one's particularly close. Superman wins. But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. And if you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. You'll get to see more videos like this one every single week. And I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.